There are ways to spend money everywhere we look, it seems. But there's just as many ways to save money, but sometimes we're just not looking. Today, I'm going to share some of the many ways that I save money every day. For many people, saving money seems like this unreachable feat. But I'm here to show you today some of the many ways that I save money every single day, which affords me the ability to be able to live at home and not work and retire early on a meager income. So, let me show you some of the things that I do or think about on a daily basis that add up to a lot. Just recently filled up my tank with gas that costs $2.11 a gallon. And that's because I filled out those little 50-point surveys at the bottom of my Dillon's and my Kroger receipts, and it added up to 500 points, and I cashed those in. You don't have to have a large ticket sale for that little survey to print out at the bottom of your receipt. And then I just fill those out, I add them up. You can use them the next month. So you have an entire month to save those up, and then your purchases count as well. So, yeah, I filled up my entire tank of gas for about $16. I don't go shopping that often, but I also get my pharmacy prescriptions filled there. So I also can use the survey at the bottom of those receipts as well. The next way that I've been saving money is I've started using some grapeseed oil instead of olive oil. And I substitute this in, and it saves me a bunch of money because this at Aldi is $1 less for double the amount of olive oil. So do your own research for your own health, but I've started using this part of the time to cut back on the costs. So there's over a 50% savings there. Olive oil has gotten so expensive. And I just recently made a loaf of bread using this in the bread recipe, and it came out fine. I showed you that bread, but what I didn't tell you is I decided to make spaghetti at home with garlic herb bread. And that meal alone in a restaurant would cost a minimum of $12.99 up. But we are a gluten-free family, so we make our own bread here because gluten-free bread is so expensive. And I was out of Italian herb seasoning. So I just made my own. And I'm going to share that recipe with you now if you'd like to get a pen. It is just 1 tablespoon of dried basil, 1 tablespoon of dried thyme, 1 tablespoon of dried rosemary, 1 tablespoon of dried marjoram, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, 2 tablespoons of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of red pepper flakes. And if you don't have the marjoram, you can skip that. I didn't think I had it, and I do have it on an old spice rack. So I have been using that up, but I've never used it before in my life. So again, if you don't have a certain spice, just skip it. As long as you have the rest of them, it will be fine. And then I also added 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. The bread came out so delicious. And then I used brown rice, gluten-free spaghetti from Walmart that's a little over $2 a package. I just used half of a package, and we had a delicious restaurant quality meal here at home with our cloth napkins. Hamburger has gotten so expensive unless you can catch it on sale. And I do catch it on sale, and I do have some in my freezer. But we've started substituting ground pork instead of ground hamburger for a lot of recipes. And honestly, we like it better. It is less greasy, it has a better flavor. So that spaghetti was actually made with ground pork that was $2.99 a pound all the time. Now, if I get it at the Asian market, it's only $2.19 a pound, which is a great steal. So, yeah, we've been substituting there. We don't care for ground turkey. I don't care for the flavor, even if I mix it in sauces, but we really like the ground pork. You certainly don't have to be gluten-free to do any of the things that I just showed you. You could just use regular flour. But being gluten-free has inspired me to look for additional ways to save money because gluten-free bread is so expensive. Going out to eat at a restaurant is risky. My husband can get really, really sick just from cross-contamination. So it inspires me to always look for ways to make things just as special and just as delicious here. But we can all do that. We don't need a dietary restriction to be able to do that. Now, one of the things that I'm looking into trying, and I just mixed it up, is using rice flour instead of gluten free flour. It is dirt cheap at the Asian market, and the tapioca starch that goes with it is also dirt cheap. All you do is take a 16-ounce bag of rice flour and mix it with a half of a cup of tapioca starch, and that can make an equivalent of your gluten free flour. And I have a ton of that tapioca starch left to do it again and make another batch. So that's one of the ways I'm going to be experimenting with next. Now, I have not tried making gluten-free homemade noodles yet, but that is a staple at our holidays. It's something that I grew up with. It's something from my heritage, and we always have homemade noodles at Thanksgiving and Christmas. So next, I'm going to share a video of how to make those dirt cheap homemade noodles all winter long. They will save you so much money, and they are so delicious. I had someone ask me to show them how to make the homemade noodles. So we are going to attempt that real quickly tonight for everyone. In a bowl, take 3 egg yolks that you have separated from the whites, 1 entire egg, 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a quarter of a cup of water. When you get it mixed together, you should have a stiff dough that looks something like this. And yes, it doesn't look like there's much there, but it will make a lot of noodles when we are done. I divide mine into about 3 parts and get it on a floured surface and cover them with flour so they don't stick. And then put a couple back because you're going to use them in a minute after we roll this one out and cut it and set it to dry. You're going to want to keep rolling it and flipping it so that it doesn't stick to the counter. See how large that one piece was and see how thin I have it? The thicker you have it, the longer it's going to take your noodles to cook. And then we're going to divide this up with a knife, add the even sides together, and slice into noodles to dry. See how I have cut all those layers and how none of them stick together? And now we're going to slice them into noodles. And then I just flip through them after I've cut them and make sure that they're all evenly floured. And then I put them on a tea towel on a platter to dry. As I put them on the platter, I kind of work through them with my fingers and make sure that none of them are stuck together and that they're not clumped together when they dry. And now we're going to do it again with the other 2 pieces. Make sure it is about as thin as the first batch so that they will all cook evenly. And here we go with batch number 3. They don't have to be perfect. Trust me, they're going to taste good no matter what they look like. Look how many noodles we made, and they will fluff up when you cook them. Just put them in a rolling boil pot of beef broth, chicken broth, turkey broth, whatever you would like, and cook them until they're done. I can't tell you how long to cook them because it's going to depend on how thick you made your noodles. But people will be asking for these, and they are so frugal to make, so cheap. They just take a little time and a little bit of a mess, but you will enjoy them, I promise. Those noodles are so inexpensive to make. You can make them all winter long. Now, I have a lot of guests coming for Thanksgiving, and at some point I bought the placemats that I have on clearance, but I don't have enough. I must have thought that people were not all coming home at the same time anymore, but this year I have 14 people coming home, and I have 8 placemats. So when I went to Dollar General on Saturday using my $5 off of 25 coupon and I got some cat food, I found that they had placemats on sale. Buy one, get one free. And they were only $2 to begin with. So that made placemats that are the same fabric, the same color. They're not exactly the same pattern, but you don't really notice because they are so similar. And I was able to get 6 more placemats for my holiday dinner for $6. Saving money in our daily lives can really be just as easy as I've just shown you. Just working in little things like that to save money make a huge difference. Now, I ended up saving about $4 off of my tank of gas. And when I was done pumping gas, I thought, I just saved $4. I could go get a coffee out. I could go get an ice cream cone. And then I thought, I'm not hungry. I don't need anything. Why am I trying to let that $4 savings be spent like right now? Our instincts can be like that. So we really have to watch ourselves. I have those instincts the same as everyone else. People will say, "Oh, you make saving money look so easy." But I have those thoughts the same as everyone else. And I just reminded myself, you're not hungry. You don't need anything. You don't need to spend that $4 as soon as you saved it because you're going to need it somewhere else. And sure enough, I did. I bought a Christmas present already for someone. It didn't come off Amazon. It did have shipping costs, and those shipping costs were $6. So $4 of savings on my gas got eaten up right away in that shipping cost for a Christmas present. It's just that easy. When they say easy come, easy go, they are saying it as a fact. So don't let those savings burn a hole in your pocket. They will be gone soon enough with the next thing that you decide that you want or need. I hope this video has been inspiring to you. I always appreciate the time that you spend with me. It would be so appreciated if you would give me a thumbs up. It really helps this channel grow, and I hope to see you in the next video.